What's up, you guys? All right, well, here we are, end of the week, finishing up 15% in the small account with TD Ameritrade. I didn't take any trades today, but, traded in 3 days this week. And right now I'm up $1,987. Where is that? Something like that. I closed out my platform. But yeah, right around $2,000 on the day in my Lightspeed account. But it felt like I was, fighting an uphill battle all morning. I didn't go green until my last 2 trades on CPAH. I started the day with a couple of kind of break-even small trades, $50, $60, and this is in my big account. Then dropped into the red by $1,000, dug my way out, dropped back into the red, and then finally on CPAH got myself out of the red and nicely into the green. So $2,000 is the daily goal. Once I got there, I said, I'm taking my money off the table. I'm walking away. I'm not going to push my luck. Wild Card Friday. Well, I guess today is it's a day off from that because the last few Fridays have been awesome, but today, I don't know. MBOT, I do see it ripping up here from 11 to 12 to 13, but price is a little higher and the spreads are a little bigger, and I just don't have the cushion to be aggressive. That's one of the things that's can be so frustrating. Right now, I might occasionally see a more speculative, a little bit of a riskier trade, but I don't have the cushion to really take it. If I'm only up barely to my daily goal, I just don't feel like I can afford the risk. On days where I'm up 5,000-6,000, then I'll feel like, hey, you know what? I can take a little risk, I can afford it. And when they work, those are the days that I end up finishing up $12,000, $15,000, $20,000. But it starts with the cushion. So if I can't get a cushion, I can't afford risk. And that keeps kind of happening this week, that I get myself green, but not green enough to, really put the pedal to the metal. So that's okay. First full week here of January, not a lot of progress, but the small account's doing well. The big account chopped out in the first couple days, coming back here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 green days in a row. So let's try to keep it going into next week. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. I've got a video that I'm going to upload tomorrow, which I think you'll really enjoy. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all first thing on Monday morning. As always, questions, comments, leave them right down below, and I hope you're already subscribed to the channel. But if not, hit that subscribe button. All right, see you guys on Monday. All right, everyone, so we're going to do midday market recap here, go over the trades from this morning. I'm going to finish the day up $1,987.38, which is $13 off my $2,000 daily goal, which is the daily goal that I have for my big account. Now, today was a day where I felt like it was fighting an uphill battle all day. It was not until my last trade that I actually got myself up this far into the green. And for a while, I was sitting in the red today. Not the easiest finish to the week. And in fact, this week was a little choppy in general. No trades in the small TD Ameritrade account today. I've got the buying power now up at $2,869 thanks to my $385 profit yesterday, which is great. I'm very happy with that. But I only had $733 of buying power today. When I was looking at stocks like Gene or CPAH, I could have taken, 300 shares of, but this one being a little cheaper, I didn't expect it to move in 20-30 cent increments, so I didn't think I'd be able to make $100 on it. And Gene, I'd only be able to buy, 150 shares. It's just gets to a point where it's not really worth it. And also remember, that if I'm focusing on the small account, it's sacrificing the ability to take that trade in my big account. So I'll sacrifice that ability if I can take 500 shares, 600 shares, and actually make a nice, solid trade. But to do that for 100 shares feels like it's not worth it. So today, this account is going to rest. I traded it 3 days this week. It's up 15% in 3 days. And on Monday, all of my buying power will be back at the full 2869. So I'll be able to take, potentially 1,000 or 1,200 shares of a stock like this. So that'll be good. All right, so we'll move that back down here. Let's see, Lightspeed account, as you can see here, in nice shape today, thanks mostly to CPAH. let's look at the gap scanner and kind of break down how this day began. So I'm gonna go time frame, historical date, 9:20 a.m. So at 9:20 a.m., CPAH was our leading gapper of 54%. And guess what? That's the stock that I made the most money on. So that's nice. Straight off the gap scanner, straight off the pre-market watch list, which means every single one of you guys had every opportunity to trade this even before me, because I told you it was the stock that I was going to be watching. I didn't know how good it would be. We never do, but it was on the watch list, so that's good. Gene, this was continuation from yesterday. NNBC, high day momentum scanner, seed continuation, ANTE, Momo scanner, AGTC. This was continuation, and PHAS was on the gap scanner right here. All right, so gap scanner, CPAH, SRNE, and PLM, the floats are too big. DRAD, I pulled up the chart, and I thought, okay, this looks interesting. But there's no news, there's nothing really happening. So I figured, well, it just needs more volume. ACRS floats a little high. This one floats a little high. Too cheap, no volume, too expensive. This one, a little more expensive, not a lot of volume, so I just skipped over it. ANTE, I did end up taking a trade on it, but it wasn't something I was looking at until it broke over $1.50. I'll show you that trade in a second. EARS, I've traded that before, not interested. Too expensive on rare. PHAS ended up being halted pre-market on news, and so it halted at 6:31. It resumed at 7:01, surged up to 771, squeezed all the way up to 849. I still managed to lose money on it. We'll break down that trade in a second. And let's see. Yeah, so that's basically what I was looking at off the gap scanner. Okay, so the bell rings, and this was kind of a little bit of a funny start to the day. Nothing looked really great. So I didn't take any trades for the first couple minutes. And the first stock that I ended up trading was ANTE right here as it was squeezing up. I pulled up the chart and I realized this is a recent IPO and above $1.83, all-time highs. And so sometimes these stocks end up giving us some really great opportunities. Oh, I see MBOT here. Good job for those of you guys that did jump on this. We'll see if it holds these levels. The squeeze from 1140 up to 1240, 1280. That's nice. Nice daily setup. I ended up passing on it, but worth keeping an eye on to see if it continues. The next resistance is 1385. So anyways, which one was I? Oh, so ANTE. ANTE, I liked the daily chart. And as it started to squeeze up, I was like, oh, wow, this thing looks good. So I jumped in it. I think it was at, let's see. I jumped in this around, excuse me, $1.60, $1.70, looking for that squeeze up into a possible halt and a move through to maybe 250. Ended up rejecting. I stopped out with only $58 of profit on a 10,000 share position. So, it didn't end up working and I stopped out. So that was my first trade. It's never a great sign when my first trade is basically a loser. I mean, essentially, it was break even, but it was not the winner that I hoped it would be. Then I took a trade on AGTC. AGTC traded yesterday with over 42 million shares of volume, and it squeezed from a low of 6 all the way up to 950. It then pulled back a little bit here, and pre-market, I was thinking, all right, this looks good once the bell rings. For a break, red to green move, a break over 9, and a surge up to 950. So I got in right here. My first trade was actually right here to anticipate that. And I stopped out of it with a very tiny winner. So I was like, okay, that was a close call, tiny winner. I got back in right here and stopped out right here for a $1,200 or $1,100 loss. And then it did exactly what I thought it was going to do right here. So this was really frustrating. It was really disappointing. But it's just the way it goes. It's interesting that you guys have more chart on ANTE than I do. I wonder why. I'll have to look into that. Anyways, that's a little concerning. I mean, if your charts aren't accurate, it can really throw off your kind of bias on a stock. MBOT, nice little 1 minute pullback right here. As you can see, 78 up to 13. We can look at the level 2 on it. There's 95 by 98, 800,000 shares of volume. It's up 16%. Some sellers there at 97. Flash down to 80, right? So those can be tricky. All right, so anyway, second trade was on AGTC. Now I'm 2 trades in, and I'm down. I'm red on the day by almost $1,000. Let's see. Next trade was Seed. All right, so Seed, this stock, this was again continuation from yesterday. Pre-market, it was kind of flat, but then the bell rang and it was consolidating right here around 35. It pops here up to 69.70, and I jumped in. I took my starter at, I think it was 75, and then I added, my cost basis was 815. I kept adding. This hit a high of 871, which is pretty impressive. And I only made $71 on it, and that was mostly just because it moved really fast. The spread was a little big, and I just wasn't able to lock up the profit. So that was a little disappointing. I know some of you guys did much better on it than me, but I just had a little bit of a hard time there. NNVC, this one, another setup that kind of hit the scanner. I jumped into. It squeezes up to, let's see, what was this? 388. Then right here, it comes back up. I got back in, or I got in, where was it? It was actually right here for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, which was at 89. It pops up to a high of 407. I took my profit, got out. Then we had Gene, continuation as well over yesterday's high. All of a sudden starts to squeeze up. I jumped in this at 5 or right around 490. It squeezes up to a high here of 536, but it didn't hold that level super well. And then we've got CPAH. CPAH starts to squeeze up right here. I didn't get into it until right here to $1.14. At this point, I thought it had a chance of going up to $2.14 to $2.25. It did. It squeezed up to $2.39. That was my first trade. I then bought this 1 minute pullback right here. We got to move up to $2.59. Then it consolidates, and I bought right in here for the break, first 5 minute candle to make a new high. So I took a few trades on this with larger share size and ended up doing the best on that one. And PHAS, that's the one that is kind of disappointing. It resumed from the halt, and I didn't buy it on resumption because the spreads were kind of big, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm not in a really good shape on the day. And then it surges to 77. It then pulls back, and right here at about 8, I got in. I got in at 8. It then surges up to 850. It pulls back for a second. I added at 848 for the break over 850 with a target of 9, and then it dropped here back down to 8, and I lost $1,200 on it. So at my worst today, I was down about 1,100, and at my best, I was up just over 2,000, but only by like $30. And so I'm going to finish the day taking the money off the table, $1,987. Again, I traded pretty actively today. I could sit here and keep trading and try to get something out of MBOT. It's tempting, and this one might end up going higher, but at the same time, I don't want to give back profits. I don't want to overstay my welcome, so I think I'm just gonna take the money off the table. Let this week be what it was, and be back at it first thing on Monday. I'll have my TD Ameritrade account back and up, and with cash available to trade. My Lightspeed account has had a couple of green days here, so that's nice. And I hope that by the end of the month, that the TD Ameritrade account is doing really well and is getting up close to, I don't know, 10,000 or something like that. And that between that, I'm able to average $2,000 plus or minus on the days that I do trade in Lightspeed. That would be a nice way to kind of smooth out the next 3 weeks or so, or 2.5 weeks. The first, I don't know, whatever it is, 10 days here of January has been pretty choppy. I've had a couple of days where, in my small account, in my Lightspeed account where I was big in the green and then gave back profits. I've had a couple days where I just went immediately into the red, and we haven't had, at least I haven't had a really, really big winner in, I feel like, a week. Not to say that I wasn't up $5,000 the day before yesterday, but like a big winner for me would probably be an $8,000 to $10,000 green day, and it's been a little while since I've had that, maybe like a week and a half or 2 weeks. So I'll be looking forward to a couple of those big green days here again at some point. But at the same time, have to remember that I really make the bulk of my profits on base hits. And, so today was a day of many base hits. And that's the way it works. So anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.